Okay, so I made a couple changes. I chose a different chest. Sorry about that. Got a little bit of phlegm in there. Changed the chest. I think I might have changed the head since the last update. Got a Death Company shoulder pad to get the skull in there. The Chaos Lord from Dark Vengeance backpack. Then a little bit of stick tack. Get these. So he's got the backpack on like that. It's got the fire going. Lots of skulls, lots of just design. I'm going to do some green stuff flames on this shoulder pad and by his feet, on both feet. And this is going to be the Legion of the Damned Sergeant. So then we go on to just the basic guys. Doing this video in parts, that's why everything's all over the place. So I cut off these little vents and just put 2 fantasy skulls on, and it turned out pretty good. Just slides into the back like that. And there we go. That gives it a bit more of a Legion of the Damned kind of look. Go into focus. There we go. So this is a Dark Vengeance Space Marine. He's got the arrow on the one shoulder pad and the symbol on the other side. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting the head off. I'm sanding down both shoulder pads. I'm going to do some green stuff flames over top of it, and then drilling a little bit of a hole and inserting this head in so that they look like this. Then I'm adding these flames to here. I don't think I'm going to be doing flames or anything to the backpacks. They're pretty fine as they are. But the reason why there's skulls on these and not the other two is it's going to make it easy to identify the special weapon. With the Dark Angel Legion of the Damned conversion. So as you can tell, that symbol is pretty clear. That symbol doesn't really matter, but it's still there. This model, I've gone ahead and just cut off, trimmed down the symbols, and cut the head off. I just used an X-Acto knife and just kind of underneath scrape up a bit. Just like that. Obviously, number one, be careful you don't cut yourself. As you can tell right here, got a little bit of a, not a cut, but a little scrape. You can put it down on the mat if you want, and just kind of go like that. Cut it off that way. It doesn't have to be too exact. Oh, go in focus. You want to do a little bit more than this, but because we're green stuffing over it, it's not that big of a deal. Other than that, the rest of the symbols and stuff are good. We do, however, want to cut this piece off. So we can just go like this. That. Cut that off. And then just trim it a bit. Now you don't have to do this. This is just an option for if you want to do a scenic base, which I'm doing for these. It allows them to now step up on something as opposed to being limited to where they can go with the slot. So the next step would be to clear those out. This is roughly as good as I'm going to do it because the green stuff's going to go over top and it won't really show. The head, this is obviously not the best it's going to be. Take my clippers from the dollar store and I just kind of both sides of the head like that. Oop. Sometimes he just scratches it like that. You got to make sure there's a good grip. And that just hit the ceiling and hit a wall and hit a chair. So it'll go flying. So obviously be careful not to get yourself in the face. Then with this you can cut it down so that it's even with the back here. Just go like that. It's more or less flat. Then you can cut in if you want, or dig in some more with these. Put your hand over it. You can hear it pop. That was what would have gone flying. So that's kind of where that's at for that. So next up we want, zoom out a bit. This is my awesome little mini Dremel. I got this somewhere. I can't even remember when or where. As you can see, if it'll focus, it's a whopping 12 volts. It is not strong. It is, well, hopefully this won't be too loud. It sounds pretty loud, but it's compared to a drill or anything like that, it's not high powered. It's just little. I got it for, I think, on sale for $10 with a bunch of little extra pieces. Go into focus. That's what I'm using. It's just a little textured piece. And what I do is I take it, go like this, turn it on, and just kind of drill in a bit, and then do a little circle. That'll clear out all of this. This is also how I do my magnetize, or how I drill holes for magnets. The magnets I use, if I have any around, no, they're put in a box somewhere. Oh, there's some, as I knocked the camera. These are the magnets I use. As you can tell, they are just a little bit bigger than the end of the drill, which means I can drill the hole in and then just give it a little rotate, and it's typically just good enough to put the magnet in. And sometimes it can be so good that you don't even need to glue it, because it's that tight once it gets pushed in. Now obviously you still want to glue it just for that added, to make sure that's what you're doing. So I'm going to do the dremeling off camera simply because it's really loud, and you probably don't want to hear that, because I know I wouldn't. Next up we have the backpacks and these pieces of fire. These are from, I don't know if I've mentioned it, but these are from the Citadel Woods kit. They come with a whole bunch of little things to put on the ground or hang from the trees, and I just cut it off and I'm putting them on just like that, just to give them a little bit more of a fire lead into the dam themed. And then I've already done some progress. This is the Devastator with the multi-melta. He's got this fire is from, I believe, the High Elves. It just seemed to fit better on his backpack. And then, if I can grab it, the head. So we have the head of a normal guy and the head of the special weapons guy right here. I'm learning the green stuff. I'm definitely not good at it yet, but as you can tell, did a little bit of green stuff on the shoulder. It's nothing too fancy. It's just enough that when you dry brush over it, it will pick up the details. So when you paint the top area and in the grooves black, and then paint the rest like orange and red, it will pick up the flame color, similar to the fire here. And so that's fire on the shoulder pad for him. Then we have the sergeant with the cool backpack. I did the same thing around his leg. Pretty simple. not too complex. But once it's painted up, it'll stand out a lot more. I also did his shoulder pad. And it's really simple. Like, I'm definitely by no means professional at green stuffing. This is probably my 4th time ever using it, and most of it was just to fix up other things. And the 3rd time was the commander for this video, or for this series. This is the other backpack. Same thing as these ones, except there's skulls on the sides. Just like that. And this is the multi-melta guy. I did his shoulder pad the exact same way. I drilled too much of the chest on this guy, so I had to green stuff that back up so it looks kind of like armor. And when I put the melta gun in his hands, there was a bit of a gap. So that right there is going to fill that gap. So when I put the melta gun on, it matches up and doesn't look like it's completely off. When the backpack's on, it looks like that. I am going to green stuff this shoulder pad, but until this dries, it's really hard to hold only just a leg to green stuff it. So I'm going to wait for it to dry and then come back to it. So on to how I green stuff, because this guy's, or I can do a leg, I guess. This guy will do. So we have this guy. I'm just going to do part of his leg. I'm going to move these out of the way and zoom in a bit. It's a little better. So you have your green stuff. This is just Games Workshop's green stuff. I've had it in a case for a really long time. I also have giant pieces of green stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little tiny bit. So that much, not a lot. I'm going to take equal amount of the yellow. You just want to make sure they're roughly the same size. I'm just going to get these out of the way. It's even harder to do green stuff when you have a camera in front of you. Hopefully that will go into focus. There we go. Alright, so I also have a shot glass. Now, you can use anything. This is simply a good height for putting water in. And most importantly, I can put my finger in it, and it's not, it's just going to be easy to get my finger just a little bit wet, just a little bit, just make sure they're damp, because then you want to pick up both pieces of green stuff, flatten them out, see it's sticking to my finger a bit, just a little bit more water, then you want to stick them together like that. Then what I do is I squish them flat again so they're long, fold it over, and just squeeze it down, fold it over, kind of just squish it out, and just keep doing that. You can kind of see it starting to mix, and just rotate just like this. A little bit more water. As you can tell, it's starting to change color to a green. Almost there. And there we go. Now we have our green stuff. So the other thing you can do is you can take an old base, just any base with a flat-ish area like this. Get this in camera. Put it down. Zoom out a little bit. There we go. Just dip your finger in, get some water, kind of drip, and just damp. Make sure that's damp. And just drop your green stuff in there. This will, while you're working on it, it will help keep it usable so that it doesn't dry out as fast. I have this piece that I was working on with the other stuff. So I'm just going to take these, add them together, mix them together, Then when I put it down, I put it in there. You can also just put a little bit of water on top. If it pools, that's fine. It's better to have it a little too wet than not usable, because it will harden right up. Then we have a little tool. It's got a round, go into focus, round edge, a little bit of green stuff because I'm currently using it. And then on this end is that. It is kind of sharp. It's not like a razor blade sharp, but it could cut you, so do be careful. Typically, I mainly just use this end because I'm pretty new at this. So what I do is I just break off a piece, and I'll just do it right on the cutting mat, and just take little pieces like that, and I think I'll do. Oh, that one has a purity seal on it. I don't know if you can see that. And this side doesn't. So we're going to do this side. So I'm just going to stick it on like this. Oh. And then just flatten this down. Just cover that up completely. We don't want it on the foot though, so we'll do it up like that. Push this across, over. Then once we get that, we just want to clean it up a bit. And get a little more. Do apologize if it's out of focus or hard to see. I'm not used to green stuff, and I'm still not used to doing things on camera. So we just want a little bit to go all the way around. Then once you have it just around, you want to kind of flatten it so it matches up with the edges. And there, just kind of make sure it doesn't go over. Doesn't matter about the little vents and stuff on the legs. We do, however, want to keep the foot, just kind of this motion, clear it out, put that back down, that up, that around, and now we have the basic just around the edges. Now we want to press down and just move up, and you want to do alternate angles as you go around. And this kind of breaks it like that. Do another one coming down in the middle. Just kind of one way, one the other. Like that. You can have it break so that there's a gap. And then just kind of down. You can have it go as high as you want or as low. You can have it stick off the edge, kind of like that. That's fine too. If you know any better ways to do this, by all means, comment, link a video. This is just to help people with some of the basics. I'm sure as I do this, I'll get better as well. The other thing you want to try and avoid is touching it, because it will leave fingerprints. And then it just adds swirls because your fingerprints are round. Off camera. So there we have just the basic fire kind of feel. Once it's painted, it should look a lot more like fire. Obviously, being green on gray doesn't give the fire effect, but I'm going to go ahead and finish these up, and I'll be back. Okay, we're back with the basic end result. It's got the flames on both shoulders, a little bit on his leg. Pretty basic, pretty simple. It's not fully glued because I'm going to prime his backpack separately. The bases are in progress. We have another basic guy. This one has flames on the shoulder pads, nothing on the legs. Then we have the melt-a-gun. The gun itself is just stick tacked on right now. Melt-a-gun. It's got the multi-melta. He's got some on his leg, some on his shoulder. Pretty simple. Then we have the sergeant. His arm's stick tacked, and this shoulder pad you can see right there is just sitting there for now. He's got a little bit of green stuff on his leg and some on his shoulder. This piece here is being a little bit annoying. It's not setting just right, so I'm gonna fix that. But he's good. And there's the squad of Legion of the Damned. So from here I'm going to prime them, and the next video is going to be the bases I'm going to be using for these, and then on to a battle report with some primed models. Hope you enjoyed, and hope you can see the next video. And that's basically it for the basic guy. I also have a couple extra heads in case I want to do some more. Make maybe a squad of 10. We have another bag. These little baggies are great for separating units as you're building them. So basically this is just a multi-melta guy. Ooh. Put that in there. We have a multi-melta. So this is the helmet that I'm using for the basic guys. And this is the unit, or the head, I'm using for the heavy weapon guy in the squad. Then I also have a little torch, a little pot on fire. And because he has a, as I knock everything around, because he has a wider backpack, it gives enough room to put that on. Because the theme with these guys, obviously the edges, these pieces will be cut, probably clean off. The whole point of the Legion of the Damned is everything's on fire. Even the picture in the codex, they're walking through fire. So, we got him. Then last but not least, because you can have a lot of fun with this guy, is the sergeant. We have a basic pair of legs. Then we have the bike sergeant for the Dark Vengeance set. I just like the pose. His head's going to be a little bit harder because it's touching the robes. But since I'm doing green stuff anyway, I can just cover that up. When he goes on his base, he's kind of leaning forward. And I do some robes coming down off of him too. I've never done that before, but this is a good time to test it out. And when I cut his head out, I'm replacing him with this head. This is a chaos head. Well, they're all chaos heads actually. This head here is from, I believe, the tank sprue, or it just might be regular Marines. And then he just looks like he'd be in charge. Similar style. Then we have the Chaos Lord backpack. Goes into focus. This backpack just looks so cool. But I'll be using that on him as well. And then on top of that, we're going to have some fire. Don't know which way the fire is going to go quite yet. And then once that's on top, we have this piece that's going to go on as well. Just as an extra look at me kind of banner. Then we have some purity seals Nothing too special, just a couple extra little things. And once the green stuff gets going, then hopefully they'll look pretty good. Alright, so I'm gonna build the guys to their basics, do some conversion work, and I'll be back. And what this is gonna do is it's going to give me a little bit of consistency between the Marines and to make them stand clearly apart from the others. Then I have these. They're just things on fire, little torches. I believe this is from the Citadel Woods kit. So the trees GW makes. I'll be cutting it and putting it on his backpack like that. And I will be doing the same for all three of these. And then I have little skulls with spikes through them, just to decorate the armor. Go into focus there. I'm also going to be taking green stuff and doing flames up the edge of their legs and on both shoulder pads, just to cover up those markings. Hello everyone. Welcome to the next part of the series where I build and convert the Legion of the Damned. Pour these out first. So as you can see here, if you can get into focus, we have the standard Dark Angel Space Marine from the Dark Vengeance starter set. I'm going to be converting this into a custom Legion of the Damned model. The main reason why I'm doing this is because I already have to edit the shoulder pads because I have to grind down the Dark Angel symbol because I'm not using Dark Angels, and because the current Legion of the Damned models are really expensive and I just don't think it's worth the cost. So we have a couple Marines here. This guy used to have, well, he still has his bolter here, but I'm switching it out for a melta gun. So it's going to go in there. And then just the way his arms posed, see if this will go into focus. I have a Space Marine hand from I believe the Grey Knights, possibly the Sanguinary Guard, and it will be holding the bottom of the barrel like that. So these are the three of the basic Marines. Now, currently, they're just Dark Angels. They're not very Legion of the Damned-ish. So I've decided to go with this helmet. And I'm going to drill out and cut off their heads and put this helmet on. I've got one for each of them.